like to take you through some of the changes in the sales and purchasing modules in SAP version 10. We'll start off with a change to the way addresses are formatted. So if we go into a sales order and we create a sales order, a new sales order, and we pick one of our business partners, we'll pick this lead at the bottom. If we look at the address for this particular lead, you'll notice there's a blank line there. The second line of the address is blank. That's because on the business partner, not all the address fields are populated. And if we drill onto those dots, you can see that the address line, there's some blank fields on here. So that's why we've got a blank address line. In version 10, you can eliminate these blank lines by a setting that's held against the address format. So if we cancel this sales order and we go into where the address formats are held, which is under administration, it's under setup, it's under business partners, and it's under address formats. And we find the address format for the relevant country region, which is the UK and Ireland. So if we go to the last one, you can see this is the address format for the UK and Ireland, which is where that customer is located. You can see the address format for this particular country region is street, block, city, county, postcode. Okay, so we've obviously got no data in the second line of the address, which is why we get in the blank line when we enter a new sales order. So on version 10, you've got this new option at the bottom here, this tick box, hide empty address lines. So if we tick that on this address format and update, and then we go back and re-enter that sales order, we should see that there's no lines in the address that are blank. So we go back into the sales order and we select the same business partner, and we then go to the logistics tab. You should be able to see that the address now contains no blank lines. So when you come to email or print any documentation related to this sales order or future documents that are going to end up in the document chain, there'll be no blank lines in the address that's on the document. So that's a feature that's long overdue. Okay, the next one I wanted to highlight is changes to the document printing. So in SAP, you've got this function that you can mass print or email documents from the system. So under document printing, you can select various document types, and these are both sales, purchase, and inventory documents, and you can mass email them or mass print them from the system. Now, in version 10, they've added more choice in terms of the selection criteria on this screen, so you can be more selective about the list you end up with. You can now select by customer or range of customer, by customer group or supplier groups or properties, which just makes it a lot more usable in terms of producing lists of documents you want to mass email or print. And when you get the list, there are more options in terms of what you can see on this form. So if you go into form settings, you've got a whole lot more options here in terms of fields that you can filter on or sort by, including user-defined fields that are on marketing documents, which again can be put onto the so you can put that onto the screen. Okay, so the next one relates to the open items list. So a similar vein to the document printing. If we go into the open items list, which sits under reports, it sits under reports in sales and in purchasing, and this is a generic report to look at open documents. So we go into the open items list. You can see here that we've got more options in form settings again. So if we click on form settings, you've got a whole lot more options here, including user-defined fields again, so that when you're looking at open items for a particular document type, you can be more selective. You can filter on these extra fields, just makes it more usable. As I mentioned, this is a generic report for both sales, purchasing, and some stock transactions. The final change I wanted to highlight on this section is related to saving documents when you're adding new documents. So if we go into maybe a sales order, so if we go into a sales order and we maybe create a new sales order for Asda, maybe we'll pick that accounts, telling us it's gone over the credit limit. And we can maybe put an item onto this account, onto this order, some smoked chicory. You've now got on the save button here, on the add button, you've got more options. In previous versions you only had add, and what that would do in standard business one, it would add the order and it would take you onto a blank screen ready to enter a new order. Those of you who have Boyum, the add-on Boyum, this feature that's in version 10, there was a kind of a workaround for this in Boyum, but this is now in standard business one. So you've got three options on this button. You can add and view, which basically adds the order and leaves you within the same order, so it's still on the screen. You can add and new, which is how it used to work in previous versions, and you can add and close, which basically adds the order and then closes this form and takes you back to the menu. And it always remembers the last selection that you made. So it came up with add and view because last time I saved an order, I selected add and view. So if I clicked add and view to add this order, it's telling me I've got no values in there, that's fine. It's telling me they've exceeded their credit limit, that's fine. It will go in and add that order, but it leaves that order on the screen. Okay, while we're here, there's just a nice little feature that I'll highlight. So if you're in find mode and you've got status here now, you've got more statuses to select from. Open emailed is now a status which didn't exist before, and printed and emailed. So they've now extended these statuses to recognise that you've actually emailed this out rather than printed it, or printed it and emailed it. So you can see, you can select the documents you've emailed or printed now.